And human rights groups have petitioned the Speaker of the National Assembly to reject President Uhuru Kenyatta's nominees for Cabinet Secretaries, Principal Secretaries and Ambassadors. The groups, which held peaceful demonstrations from Freedom Corner to Parliament buildings under the slogan "Recall the List," say the nominations were biased and lacked inclusivity.
We'll be able to deliver on the 30% for slot for the young people. We have not seen that since he came to office in 2013. He has been given a position to friends, thugs, criminals, people who are looting our resources. Those are the people who are rewarded by the president. We wonder, is this guy for us or against us?
I feel that it's very unconstitutional. You look at that list, there's no representation at all. It's only the old same people who are there. He's doing the same old things and expect different results. We're in a different country right now. Kenya has so many challenges, and you cannot bring the same old folks with the same old ideas and expect different results.
Right, a lot of reactions there from the human rights groups as well. I want to draw your attention, if you missed this at the top of the hour where we had the newspaper review a bit, or just looking at the headlines, this is what now Victor has drawn today in the Star. And this is the suckers. Cabinet nominees going through thorough and rigorous vetting. And you can see them now here on the toboggan slide, smiling all the way. And of course, landing on the Jubilee Party's, that is the... what do we call it? That is a logo, I should say. And of course, I want my guests to actually also weigh in on this. What are their thoughts with the new appointments? The human rights groups are saying it is not all inclusive. Of course, I know you have reactions, but looking at the cartoon, let's begin with Vincent. Dr. Vincent, what do you think?
I think it's very hard to be inclusive in this kind of a game. Mm-hmm. Because that's how they play politics. Yes. They'll have people that they want to reward. And so they might make decisions that are not very rational. So in my case, for instance, I was quite happy with what Matiang'i and Mohammed were doing in their previous posts, and I would have wanted to see a continuation. Mm-hmm. So if somebody's doing something well, just keep them there, let them continue. Don't assume, let me just move them around. So I would have wanted to see some more logical continuation of what was happening before. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, it's going to be other criteria, other principles that are guiding this process. Mm-hmm.
All right, let us see from Dr. Cesar Mwangi. If you may just have the cartoon back so that, Cesar Mwangi may look at it.
That's
Mr. Mark, my director. Yes.
That's one of the nominees, eh?
That's one of the nominees.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there anything that we're missing? Yeah, this actually is a lady, yeah?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then we have a man as well.
Yeah. I think what this cartoon is saying is that they're having an easy ride going down that slide.
Because it's an easy ride.
They're being vetted by their colleagues.
But isn't a toboggan slide meant to be easy?
It's
right?
easy,
so
yeah.
that you can enjoy.
It's easy, it's enjoyable. So I think this slide is suggesting that the vetting is a formality of sorts, which is going to go through anyway. But just to mention the issue of inclusivity, in a country where there are 42 or 43 different groupings that all want to be inclusive,
yes,
there is a gender mix, there is all the other mixes that are required, the youth, the disabled. I think we've put ourselves in a bind when we keep on talking about inclusivity. I think we should perhaps start thinking more of competence rather than trying to please everybody. This is my view. It may be a bit of a controversial view, but I think we're at a stage of development which is so far backward, yes, that we really need to focus on something that will take us to a better place. And then we can start talking about all these, I call them luxuries. All these things about, blah, blah, we all need to be represented. It's impossible to get everybody represented in all these processes because we just have a few people there.
No.
And we'll never please everybody at the end of the day.
But we have a constitutional threshold that we should meet as well, right? As much as you say it is impossible, but we need to also go with what the Constitution, really stipulates, as codified in the Constitution. So how do you say again it is impossible to please everyone? We have successes around us. Rwanda has done very well, actually. It's the epitome now of gender inclusivity.
I call these luxuries, my friend. In a situation where we need to develop this country, sometimes we dwell on too many things that don't take us forward. Okay? Now we find demonstrations about inclusivity. We're supposed to be working, my friend. during the day, not demonstrating all the time about various things.
Yeah.
And I say, this is a bit controversial, yes, but I can tell you, but this is a position I'm pushing.
Hey, okay. Lizzie, you agree with what actually Dr. Caesar is saying when it comes for fighting for... Yeah?
With him, because it is impossible to please everybody.
Yes.
People have tried, and I also being in business, I try, but it's very, very difficult to make everybody happy. It seems like everybody wants somebody from their village to be there. And it's not easy, especially when we are so many, you know, we have 43 tribes. It is very difficult, and I think the most where people should be happy, what people should be happy about is we have the devolution government, that they can get what they want within their county, that everything will be done within their county. What is coming from the government should be, it supports the counties, but it will be difficult to do exactly the way people would want. Yeah.
But aside, maybe if we may shake off the tribal tag that everyone has to be represented from the 43 tribes, that we have the new one, which is the Asian community as well. From gender perspective, don't you think maybe it is good to hold demonstrations as flying in the face of what Dr. Caesar Mwangi is saying, that we need to fight for our rights, and the cabinet has not met the threshold of the gender inclusivity? Yeah?
For me, I'm not so much into politics, but sometimes I find that it's very difficult to even get the exact 1/3 of us. And again, you have to be politically connected for you to get a position. Because I work very hard, I'm very much in education.
Yes.
But nobody has ever asked me, do you want to go and help Matiang'i when he was there? But for me, I don't know. I don't want to comment a lot because I honestly don't involve myself in politics at all.
Okay, let's hear from Maurice.
Thank you so much. Politics is the lifeblood of society. So Aristotle taught us long ago that a human being, you and me, are inherently political. We are social. So for me, the key question is, what is the best practice? Now, pick for example, the Honorable Munya, who has since moved from being Governor Meru to East Africa Community. What is the track record? So that for all those folks, you have to ask, what is the track record? And you mentioned the question of ethnicity, that we have 43 tribes or so.
Yes.
There's no tragedy about coming from wherever you come from. For hell's sake, nobody chose to be born where they were born. So what is our tragedy here? Kenya's, and perhaps, largely speaking, Africa's preeminent tragedy is impunity. Are we complying with the law? So Dr. Caesar here speaks about, let people demonstrate. And another says, no, we need not demonstrate. People are demonstrating because they feel left out. Why? Because they know for a fact that those who have, found their way into the opportunity to serve are not complying with the law.
Yes.
So if there's no compliance, we don't inspire trust. So that, and with it, folks have an opportunity then to do what? To extract. So access and control over resources becomes the issue. That one of our own is in there to take care of our interest. Even when community interest is nowhere in consideration for those appointments. So this delicate thing to balance, who do we give, do we parachute one position to Southern Nyanza, another to Upper Eastern? That for a fact is nonsense. It is out of a long practice of disenfranchising a large segment of society. Right. So my humble take then becomes, we have the law, and it is just that, the law, for most people. So human rights groups and many other people of considered view, do not see that the cabinet inspires confidence.
Yes.
So what are we to do about it? Are we going to keep playing catch-up for catch-up's sake?
Right, catch-up for catch-up's sake.
What is the strategy around which, you know, as in, how do you get everyone to move along with you?
All right. Right. Good question. And of course, what we need to also ask ourselves in disappointments and going with what history will bear, maybe from the previous appointment as well. Technocrats, you know, they were really touted. They were really going to drive, you know, the progress of the economy, and we need people who are apolitical for these particular positions. But for instance, when we have a very heavy docket like, you know, the Ministry of is it Petroleum? Yeah, and we have Munyes who is really coming to actually take up that particular position. So the question would be, first of all, what sort of knowledge and experience does he bring to bear on that particular docket, especially right now when we have a ticklish issue of how we can go, we can share the revenue pie that is coming from Turkana. And you know, the petroleum bill, I don't know if it's an act right now, that was actually passed, and it has been a very ticklish issue of the 10% and the 5% as well, right? Don't you think we need a technocrat who has good knowledge from that particular field as well on how we're going to, you know, navigate the choppy waters on the revenue sharing from that particular docket, and also how also the transnational, you know, corporations will not be too prevailing opponents, because we don't have the knowledge and the expertise, we don't have the facilities on how we can know where the hydrocarbons are, and we don't have maybe experts also in the country, maybe who are, they're really up to scratch as they are. So the question, maybe just the bare minimums of it, is expertise and knowledge given to such a docket to Peter Munyes, right? Do you think he really deserves this?
So the way I look at it, Debarl, as Maurice was saying, we're political. We're, just by being human beings, we're political. And so at that level of leadership, it's not so much how much of an expert you are at a particular thing.
Yes.
It's how good a leader you are.
How good a leader you are.
As far as experts are concerned, you can employ them. You can have them like on the second string. So you have them right behind the leader, giving all the technical advice. And then the leader now handles the softer issues, which are actually harder to handle, like how are we going to share the revenues. That's not a question of petroleum per se. It's not a technical question on petroleum. It's a question of understanding communities, interests, managing to talk to various people, being fair and just. But then as far as how the petroleum is extracted, where it is sold, it's that you can have an expert to do it. So for me, I don't really think it's necessary to have a technocrat at the top, at the very top. You just need a leader, someone who can lead people and bring interests together. You can always have the technocrats right behind them.
Correct. So that argument about the technocrats is not really, we don't think it's really valid, because yes, we can try and take, for instance, also Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i. His background is education. Yes. We had also previously Kaimenyi, also holding that particular docket. His background is also the academia, but different kettle of you know, fish when he was put on that particular docket himself, and when also Matiang'i was on that particular docket himself as well. So is it about personality, or is it about, it's not about the knowledge also? Let's say from Lizzie.
Yeah, I have always wondered why they put people who are not specialized in those areas. But I think, thank you very much, he has answered my question. Like I tell you, I have not involved myself deeply into that. Yes. Now, what he has said, I think, is the right thing, that we need a leader. Because a leader will be able to lead people into guiding what they know best. The experts are the ones who are going to do what the leader has guided them to do. Yes. Otherwise, I used to wonder, why should they put somebody who was a banker into health? Health, which is very very important, one of the most important important ministries we have. Yes. But I think what you have said is very right, because you see some people doing very well in an area whereby they are not experts, but because they are leaders. So the key here is this person a leader. Once you establish that, Then he has to go back into the office and interview all the officers that are working under him and guide them. And also there must be somebody who cannot condone corruption, because corruption is what is aiding our country.
Corruption.
Yeah.
Corruption, corruption, corruption. Let's hear from Maurice, then we wind up on it and get to the topic of the day.
Debarl, on the subject expertise versus leadership,
yes,
Kenya does not lack experts.
We don't lack
If
experts.
we needed aeronautical engineers of 40 years experience, we will get. We place an advert, you know, on the Economist, we will get those. But we cannot hire leaders from, you know, Lower Manhattan to, you know, run our society towards, you know, a destination.
Yes.
So, in my view, what is, you know, very important is, under the heavens,
yes,
the leaders we have, what is their vision for society? Where do they want to take us? You know, we have leaders and we have followers.
Yes.
See that? So, if you have opportunity to lead as an individual, where do you want to take society? Whether it is, you know, in petroleum, whether it is in education, whether it is in security, whichever docket. So, and of course, then, you know, you have to look at very important and soft issues, the questions around social virtue.
Yes.
See that? I remember when, you know, you spoke to me yesterday, you talked about we need to discuss how the mighty fall.
Yes.
So, if we talk about leadership then in our country, what leadership do we need? Not to fall, see that? But, you know, to keep, you know, as a springboard.
Yes.
To sustain, to maintain, you know, where we are and perhaps improve our situation. Because if statistics should make sense to us,
yes,
we have consistently had, you know, cabinet from, you know, the first day of being independent to date.
Yeah.
How has, you know, that is the highest, you know, policy level, for example, you know, in our society. How has it consistently, you know, pulled and pushed our society from, you know, one leap to another and to another?
All right.